Welcome back to Dating Over 50. I'm here with Forrest Ward, and he's going to be talking to us today about the four linguistic. What is it, Forrest?
Four linguistic events in a relationship.
Okay, and so tell us about those four. What are the four?
Well, first I have to tell you this. We all exist in language.
Which
It
means
permeates everything we do.
everything?
And we have to draw distinctions,
Okay.
okay? And we do that through language. A relationship, it's interesting how relationships work. People in a relationship are always relating. People who are in an entanglement, they're always entangled.
So you're saying that those who are relating in relationships, they're relating. But if they're in an entanglement, then they're twined up, bound up by whatever else. And could that be their past that they could be entangled up with?
A lot of people haul their past around with them like it's some sort of present they want to give to everybody.
Okay.
And that's really an exercise in frustration, is to keep listening to people who are bringing up their past all the time. They're not present to this moment.
So
In order to be in a relationship, you have to be in the moment.
you have to be in a moment. So let me just ask, and I have to ask this question.
Go ahead.
If they're in the past and they're entangled in their past and they keep telling you about the stories of their past, is it because they want to believe what has happened in their past, or they want somebody to co-sign what has happened in their past?
They keep reiterating, repeating their past because there's something about their past that's incomplete. The more things we complete, the more energy we have. Okay? So if you have a situation where it was an entanglement in the past and it's not resolved, then you'll carry that with you wherever you can to try to get it resolved. And you're hoping that somebody's going to listen to your story about that past and they're going to agree with it, and you'll call those people friends.
Okay.
Okay? However, in relationships, and dating especially, you have to set all that aside and start exploring what you can do with a person now.
So you would be exploring the new relationship with that new person, and you'll forget everything that was in your past.
Maybe not forget it, just not reactivate it to the point that it tries to run you.
Now, I'm full of questions. So do you think that that person who's living in their past sees the person they're dating now as being that person in their past?
Sometimes they do. They try to project what happened in the past onto the person they're relating to now.
So,
And that's really unhappy. Actually, it can be very discouraging.
and it can be, you heard the saying that misery loves company. So I'm trying to bring this person into my misery. Oh my God, that's not
Now,
good.
that story that I'm talking about, our subject today is about the four linguistic events of a relationship. Okay, the first one is assessments. We have assessments about everything. We have assessments about our past. We have assessments about other people we meet. We have assessments about everything that happens. Okay?
Okay.
We make up information. It's data. It's history. It's emotions. It's prejudices. It's I have to struggle with my options. Those kinds of things.
So now, if somebody was raised a certain way, would they expect that to be the same way in the relationship? Like, perfect example. Let's say I was raised, and I was raised in such a way with an open mind, to be open-minded about everything, but maybe that other person wasn't.
Right.
Okay.
Now, they're not open-minded because the assessments that they carry around with them, they believe them to be true. And oftentimes, the story we make up about our past or our assessment about the past, it's inaccurate.
It's funny because me and my sister had this conversation this morning, and you will appreciate this. When did the music change?
Somebody told me one time, they said, you kind of walk through your life about half conscious.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, one day you wake up to something and brings you to the moment, and you think you've had an epiphany, when the truth is you were just conscious. And what you get to do as being conscious is look where you are, who you're with, establish the relationship that you want, and then what you choose to do with that relationship. Then we can call that dating, or we can call that relating, whatever we want to call it. The assessments always hinder us. They always back us into a corner. Okay, it's like painting yourself into a corner. You don't see any way out, because assessments really can be so inhibiting. Okay, there's not a lot of freedom there. All right, now that's the first linguistic event in a relationship.
Okay, so that's the first linguistic.
The next two are two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
Okay, they're called promises and requests. Now, you can't have a promise without a request, and you can't have a request without a promise.
So if I make a request of you, I'm making a promise. Is that what you're saying?
If you're making a request of me, and I respond to that request, then I'm giving a promise.
Okay, so you're giving a promise. So if I say, Forrest, I request of you to come to my house and let's shoot this video.
Yes.
You're making a promise to me.
Yeah. When I say yes, that's a promise.
Okay.
Now, when Cindy asked me, if you're going to see me, you have to marry me, that was her request. And I immediately said yes. I want to have the rest of this conversation. I just want to do it. I want to complete it next week, because I want you to know how to spell my last name and meet my daughter, and I want to know something about your family. And she said, "Oh, there's no pressure. That's fine."
But she made the request. That request was really pressure, if you think about it.
Well,
right?
it wasn't, because
But it wasn't.
We were both ready.
It wasn't pressure for you because you were ready. Because you if I remember properly, in our last conversation, you had told the women that you were seeing that you were no longer going to be dating.
Right.
The next person you see, you were going to be marrying.
I was going to be with a woman I would spend the rest of my life with. Now, that's a definition of being married. Yes.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
Now, so promises and requests are the beginning of a relationship.
Okay.
The rapidness with which we fulfill promises and requests determines our power.
So if we're going to take out time, which some people do,
Then request that.
they request that.
You can request, may I take time? May I take time to think about this? May I take time? Sure.
How long of a time would you suggest?
It depends on the person and how much you appreciate them.
Okay. Wounded people. So I kind of talked about that a little bit on my Facebook page today. Wounded people tend to look for somebody to help, what I'm going to say, heal those wounds.
Exactly. What I've learned is hurt people hurt people.
Okay.
Free people free people. Okay?
I love that.
Isn't that beautiful? It's a wonderful thought.
Yeah.
And people who are wounded, as much compassion as we have for them, if we play in their drama, we have not done them any good at all.
We can't save them anyway, right?
Well, we probably can't.
Okay.
They can save themselves.
If they want to.
Well, yeah. If you're giving and giving and giving and giving and giving to somebody, and they don't, they don't progress, then that's an exercise in frustration.
It is.
Okay? Now, I believe that there are some people that are so negative, they need to be all in the same room and lock the door and leave the rest of us alone.
Well, yeah, you're right about that.
That's sort of a humor thing.
We don't need those negative people, but I love that because you're right. Some people are so negative; they all need to be in the same room together.
They need to get along with each other.
Can you give me the key to get to them?
Well, I do know this: that negative people, they try their best to attach themselves to positive people.
Why is that?
Because other negative people won't put up with them.
Is that what it is? Okay. So other negative people won't have anything to do with them, so they try to attach themselves to positive people. Do you think it's because they want to become positive themselves?
Negative people oftentimes don't have any requests in the matter. They don't have any promises in the matter. It's just more story. It's just more of assessments. Okay, and see, the thing about assessments, it's like stacking bricks with no mortar. Okay, the people go through the motions of stacking all these bricks, and a life event comes along and knocks all the bricks down. And what they do is go back to stacking the bricks.
Now, you know, when you talked about the bricks, you're going to laugh at me because I was thinking when you talked about the bricks, the three little piggies, you know. But the house of brick is supposed to be firm. It's supposed to have a solid foundation.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the little piggy that built the brick house put mortar in between the bricks.
Okay.
Most negative people don't put any mortar there. They're just stacking the bricks. They're
So
just going through the motions.
They're like the first piggy who built the house of straw. We can just and blow the house down, huh?
Right.
Okay, and now using that analogy is sometimes what happens to them in relationships. Somebody could come along and just blow the house down and just blow the relationship away. And most of the time, it's that negative person.
If you have promises and requests operating, see a healthy relationship, they're making promises and requests all the time. It's just a natural flow. Okay? Nobody's damming it. Nobody's stopping it. Nobody's blocking it. Okay? It's just it's a wonderful thing. For instance, Saturday night, I made a request to Cindy. Let's go to the Texas Musicians Museum in Irving, Texas, and listen to Leo Hull play his blues.
Okay.
And so she said, sure. Even though it was raining, even though there was danger on the highways, all this kind of stuff that she could have said no, 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 no. Still, she said, well, sure, let's go do that. Do you know what?
What?
There were 11 people there.
That's it?
We had a wonderful time.
Because it was just 11
No,
people?
there was no noise interrupting Leo, and he had a great concert. He played it by himself. It was amazing.
But those 11 people were 11 happy people.
I'm telling you, we had a good time.
Okay.
And Leo was really pleased because he knew that those were people that were there to listen to him. Okay.
They really wanted to be there.
Yeah. But I made a request of Cindy, and she responded immediately. Okay. It happens like that, and it's fun. That's really the fun in a relationship.
Well, you know, the spontaneity. I'm not saying it right. Sorry. Spontaneity. Thank you, Forrest. But you knew what I was trying to say, right?
Even people from Texas know what spontaneity is.
What is it? It's just doing things on the fly, and I like that. I think that's really great.
That's why I consider you a recovering New Jerseyite.
But hey, don't talk about Jersey now. I tell people all the time, you don't want to see Jersey come out.
Oh no. It can be it can be tough. Anyway, so promises and requests are the beginning of action.
Okay.
All right? Now, if you want to increase the action, if you want to increase the power, you have to declare something. And that's the fourth linguistic event in a relationship.
Okay, so
there's assessments, there's promises, requests, and there's declarations.
So we got 4.
Yeah.
Not 3.
Right.
Okay. And so the fourth one is what?
Declarations.
Declaration. So when we declare something, what are we declaring?
Well, see, I love you is not a feeling.
Okay.
I love you is a declaration.
So I'm declaring that I love you.
Yes. You see, there's over 7 billion people on the planet. 7 billion. 1/2 of those are women.
And we always declare that.
And I chose Cindy.
Okay.
And when I say I love you, I say I love you, and I'm making a choice. I'm declaring something.
You're declaring your love.
That out of all the women on the planet, I choose her every day.
Okay. What a lucky woman.
Well,
she got you, huh?
And that's funny how that works because guess what?
What?
She chooses me.
So she declares her love to you.
Exactly.
And you declare your love to her.
Exactly.
Okay. But that makes for, what they say in the Bible, equally yoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people, when it says 2 shall become 1, it means that they're totally aligned with each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what about people who are not totally aligned to each other?
There's dissension, and there's there's always a falling back. There's always a hesitation. There's always some deliberation that, some assessment that gets in the way.
Would you say that after the age of 50 we should assess, or we should just go with the flow?
I'm not saying to not make assessments. Assessments are just the pea soup we operate in.
Okay.
It's the social grease that we have.
Okay.
Okay? I'm saying don't be limited by those. In order to be more free, the promises, requests, and declarations are the way to go.
So when we start doing assessments, then we start forming opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start forming opinions, we determine this is good and this is bad. And so something good, we might turn it into a bad, but it may be good because we assessed it that way.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, we think ourselves into a corner. And then we go and broadcast with it.
When you say broadcast, what do you mean?
We're just out there spouting it to anybody that'll listen.
No.
And we're trying to get agreement. See, another assessment is agreement. You're trying to get agreements out there.
Oh, so if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I do my assessments and I say, well, this person is this way or that way, I'm looking for somebody to agree, yeah, they are that way, maybe that's not the person for you.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that negative people can always find agreement? That's amazing.
Why can't both people find agreement?
It blows me away.
But I guess that's how the world is, right?
Exactly. What I do in my courses is my responsibility is to create a space where people can thrive.
Okay, so now tell us a little bit about your courses.
When I create one of my courses, my responsibility is to create an atmosphere or a space for people to thrive.
Okay.
When a negative person enters that space, it is amazing to me how many people get hooked by that negativity, and they go off.
It's funny because I talk about animals in my classes, and one of the animals is the rat. The rat is a negative person.
Can be, yeah.
And the rat recruits people. So you say in your classes that negative person, I see that negative person as being a rat because they recruit the people who comes around that rat. But we're in a world or a society where that's all we hear is negativity.
Exactly. Now, in the process of my course, what happens is people locate on what is positive in their lives. Okay, I call it abundant living.
Okay.
We're called to be abundant in our lives.
Okay.
We were never called to do just enough to get by.
But people do that.
Well, they do, but we still have the possibility of having an abundant life. Abundant in our outlook, abundant in our feelings, abundant about every aspect of our lives.
Well, I'm going to bring it back around to dating over 50, abundant in relationships.
Exactly. Now, if we come from that frame of mind, then it's easier for us to make promises, requests, and declarations. Because we're tapping into who we are.
But most people don't know who they are.
Exactly. Most people don't understand that if you have something negative in your heart, then you're going to go around the world looking for that very same thing. And it'll be like a magnet to you. You'll be drawn to it just like it was a part of you. And the truth is, it's not a part of you. It's just something you picked up.
You know, Forrest, because this is really great discussion. So, I had two people in my life tell me, I'm not happy and I haven't been happy for a long time. And what I got from that was that they were looking for me to make them happy. I can't make you happy. You got to make your own self happy, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now, that's interesting, too. Our society really loves people to be happy, okay? Well, happy has to be generated inside.
So it starts from within that
if
person.
If I generate happiness in my life, and I'm committed, 100% committed to my life, then people who know what that is, who are acquainted with that in their own lives, they will be drawn to me.
They'll be drawn to you. I like that. No.
People come to Cindy and I all the time, especially single people, and they'll say, well, how are you all able to do this? And we both will say this. Go out there, quit trying to go find somebody, and get 100% committed to your own life. What you're good at, what you're best at, go out and find the best relationships you can create. And guess what? People who recognize that, who have that operating in their own life, will show up.
So,
Some people walk around thinking they're lacking something, so they're going out there trying to find something.
but they're not lacking anything.
If you come from a space of abundance or being whole, complete, satisfied, those kinds of things, all of a sudden people who are whole and complete and satisfied show up in your life.
I like that. So, are you saying if I walk around, well, I'm already whole, complete, and healthy, okay? I'm just not.
You're healthy inside and out. Yes.
Right, I'm healthy inside. Well, I have to tell you something funny. Because last week I was eating some potato chips.
Great.
And that's what my grandbaby said. She said, "You're eating potato chips. Now that's not healthy." And you wrote the book, The Healthy Woman Is. I was like, I'm looking at her like, okay, can I just have my moment? I thought you would get a laugh out of that. But getting back to what you were saying, I think this is a good conversation. And I'd like to have you back again. How about
Sure.
what you say about that?
Good.
I like to have you back again. I like to pick up from what you're talking about. And because I think people dating over 50 need to understand what they might be getting themselves into.
Well, I want to say this last thing about the declarations. Declarations puts us on the skinny branches where the ripest fruit is. People who are stuck in assessments are hanging on to the trunk of the tree. And the scene really doesn't change much.
So they still, well, they're at the trunk of the tree.
And
What
another
they
point I
expect?
want to make about declarations is the document that started this country was not the assessment of independence.
It was a declaration.
Mankind had assessed about independence for centuries.
Okay.
But it took 56 people put their name on a piece of paper to declare to the most powerful man on the planet at the time, here's what we're charging you with, and this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to create a whole new nation. What's interesting about George Washington, they came to George Washington and said, we want you to be king. And George Washington said, we just got rid of a King George.
I will be president.
He actually created the office. He said, I will preside. I will be a president. That's the first time in the history of mankind there was a president. So what we do today is we are the beneficiaries of what those people declared centuries ago. And what we get to do in our lives is recreate that Declaration of Independence.
Now, how do we recreate that? Now, you got my curiosity, Pete. How do we recreate?
Promises, requests, declarations, we need to be absorbed in those things.
And so we create that in relationships, or we should create that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we don't.
We can.
If we
At
learn
any
how.
second. See, that's the deal. At any second, you're going to like this. At any second, you have every reason to do something. And in that same second, you have every reason not to do it. The question becomes, which set are you going to empower?
So which do I choose? Do I choose to do it, or do I choose not to do it? Forrest, this has been really great. You know I'm having you back again, right?
Okay?
Okay. So, dating, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to what Forrest had to say because he's a great coach. He's a good person to tell you about dating over 50. He should know. Now, I'm not going to ask you to tell me how old you were when you met Cindy. I don't want you to tell me that. You got your eyes like deer eyes right now.
I was 43.
You was in your 40s.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, I was 43.
You were 43. Okay. So, a little close to 50, but not close to 50. But he's in a relationship. He's in a marriage right now, and it's working.
Absolutely.
But you and Cindy have these discussions all the time.
It's kind of where we live. Yeah.
That's good.
No, we don't have to be heavy about it. We don't have to be weird about it. It's just a natural course of things.
But you don't go into assessing. Oh, he's thinking that. Because one of the things that...
Truly, if one of us is steeped in assessments and we're stuck there, we get to make each other conscious.
Of the fact that you're in assessment.
She reminds me who I am. I get to remind her who she is.
But you have that agreement with one another.
Exactly.
And I think that's beautiful. I really do. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Forrest Ward, he will be back with us in 2 weeks, Forrest.
Okay.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, he'll be back with us in 2 weeks. And he'll be telling us some more about dating over 50 and what it means. And I can't wait to hear some more of what he's going to say. Because I know, I can ask him right now, what are you going to talk about in 2 weeks?
I'm not going to tell you.
See, I told you. Anyway, for now, I'm going to say this is Dating Over 50. I'm Adele Foster with Forrest Ward. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Have a great day.